is a mess.
So this place is super messy and I'm gonna sort it out real soon, but not today, because in this video I'm planning to show you probably the most useful piece of filmmaking gear I've ever purchased and ever used. It's so useful. It actually is the second thing I pack after my camera when I go film. So I'll show it to you in 1 second. It was meant to be there, but it is probably somewhere in this messy place, which I'm gonna find. So this is the Super Clamp. This bad boy comes with me absolutely everywhere. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, Josh, a clamp? How is that the second thing you pack after your camera? Well, let me tell you why this beauty is so impressive. Have you ever considered to yourself how annoying light stands are? Because I've used them a lot. And they are super, super annoying. Not anymore, thanks to the Super Clamp. What I tend to do is when I walk into a space, if I have the opportunity, like most good filming studios do, if you're ever filming in those, they'll have rigging above. And what I like to do is instead of bringing my C-stands, instead of packing all these light stands, you can just pack this little guy, fits in your bag, and you can clamp it to the railing, and then your light no longer on the floor, it's on the roof. You'll be surprised once you have it how much you can use it for. And I like the Manfrotto Super Clamp for a couple of reasons. One, you got a small pole or something you're trying to connect to, it'll fit. The second reason, it can also go super open. It also has a number of mounting holes on the bottom. So you've got 1/4 inches, you've got this big hole thing that fits my finger, and it's got a clampy on it. I don't know the technical term for that clearly. I just like this clamp. Now, instead of me telling you how much weight this can hold and how impressive it is, how about we put this to test and we see what around this place, considering everything that we have is out. We see how much this can hold, and I'll just clamp it to this shelving behind me and hope the shelving doesn't break, because I think this will definitely hold everything we throw at it. So let's try a 90D on a clamp. I know what you're thinking. The 90D's not a very heavy camera, so I thought I'd up the antics and put on a slightly, how do you say, cinema camera? But now I think we could up the game a little bit, and I'm gonna find the biggest piece of filming gear I have that's also worth a little bit of coin, and I'm gonna put it on this clamp, and we're gonna see if it holds, and I hope it does, because it's not gonna be cheap. Whew. Let's do it. I said we're gonna go big, and we're going big. Is this big for you? Oh, 300D. Oh, doesn't fit. This is so big. It doesn't fit. Hang on. I actually think the wood is bowing and it's probably gonna snap under the weight. We've got a 1 meter diameter light dome along with a 300D Mark II, and it is clamping, it is good. Just make sure the beams are probably stronger than this, but the clamp, all good. All the threading options and how strong this clamp is, the applications for this clamp are quite endless when you start thinking about it. And the best part is when you start getting on location, you start getting in shoots, having something like this in your kit is so useful. Just for example, literally 3 weeks ago, I was on a shoot and we had to do a 360 shoot of the location, and we had two options. One, we need 20 other people to move lights around and hide them behind poles and move with me the camera, and then you have a moving light and it looks real weird. Or we could hang some nan lights by this clamp by our beam. Here's me looking real suave, smiling at the camera, but as you can see, I'm about to mount those lights. And oh, you ask yourself why I'm smiling, because this clamp brings me that much joy. That much joy, knowing that I could just clamp this to the roof and it would hold perfectly on that beam, and we would get a crispy shot like this one. When I walk into a room, I look up. not where I can put stands. I look up at the roof at where I can clamp my lights, my cameras, my microphones, absolutely anything. And oh, it is such a pleasure when you go to film. Sure, it might take a second to clamp this up, but it's a lot better clamping your lights up in the roof instead of having to shoot around them and worry about poles and people tripping over them. And just frees you up to do what we're here to do and actually film and not let gear get in the way. And I think this clamp takes that metaphor, not just to a metaphor, but it physically gets the gear out of the way. And if you call yourself a filmmaker or someone that likes to tell stories or point a camera and you're always like, the gear doesn't matter, well, I'll tell you what, if the gear's in your way, then it does matter, because if it's heavy, you can't pick it up. If it's in the way, you're gonna trip over it. So maybe we should take some of our own medicine that we keep spitting out to people saying gear doesn't matter and get some gear that's actually useful and gets the gear out of the way and frees you up to tell really epic stories. So let me know in the comments what you would use a super clamp for if you have one. And if you do have one, fire off in the stories when you've used it, when you didn't actually think that you would be using it and then it solved an issue. And until next time, remember to subscribe and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.